Chris Hughton is with us. Chris, I think tonight we have to start with Robert Snodgrass because that looks really nasty. How is he?
Yeah, well, he took a whack. It is concussion. But as a precaution, they've taken him away, and whether he'll stay overnight in hospital, I don't know. But hopefully it's only a concussion and he'll be okay. But it was, of course, a fair whack that he took.
Yeah, he was down for a long time. What do you have to say about the reactions of Lindegaard, the goalkeeper, as well? Because in the replay we've seen, he looked very concerned. I think he put Snodgrass in the recovery position at one point there.
Yes, I think that was the case. I think if you're the closest one to it and you can see that the player is out, then of course it's quite alarming. And of course, if you're somebody that's not used to that or not used to seeing or not quite sure what to do, then of course it becomes even more a nervy time. But I think that the medical people got on as quick as they could. I think it's been dealt with very, very well. And I said all we need to see now is it hopefully a recovery from him, which we're sure he'll be okay. But of course it's not something that you want to see.
And you then lost Nathan Redmond as well. What's happened there?
Nathan felt a muscle just above his hip. So he felt that, and for anybody that has done that before or felt that before, it can be quite painful at that stage. So there was no doubt that Nathan couldn't continue. There's no doubt, and of course it meant two wide players off in one game, and that's the tough part. Where we are at the moment, we made some changes tonight, and I suppose having lost two players, it's perhaps worked out a good decision. That I think that we did make some changes. It gives players that have been regular players for us an opportunity to play, and we have a tight squad as it is now, and we've got to make sure to wrap everybody up and of course have as many bodies fit as possible.
It's unlikely we'll see Snodgrass or Redmond for Saturday, though. I know it's early, but it didn't look good with either of them.
No, I think with Robert, I think it will be a medical issue. I've got no doubts that he'll make a full recovery from the concussion, but it'll be a medical decision on how quickly again he can play. The fact that Nathan's is very fresh, then of course there'll be a question mark over that, and of course we lost Alex Tettey in the last game. So unfortunately for us, we've picked up a few injuries this week, but it's one that we've got to make sure and work around. We've got to wrap everybody up and make sure that we're give a good account of ourselves on Saturday.
It's a bad night all round, really, because you didn't really ask enough questions of Manchester United tonight, did you?
No, I think with in a first half period, I think there were some good bits and some bad bits. We had some decent possession of the ball. I thought we at times when we could have kept it better in higher areas, then I think we gave the ball away perhaps a little bit too cheaply, which is difficult here. But I think if you go in at 0-0, I think you're lifted a little bit by the scoreline. That should have been the case because we were of course given a penalty against us, which was never a penalty, and even from where I was, I couldn't believe it was given. At that stage you need a little bit of help from of course the referees and officials, and I think it was an incredibly soft penalty to give, and that of course that gives Man United a lift. It's a second goal that really hurts us, because that should have been one that should have seen us 1-0 down as opposed to 2-0. And I think at 2-0 it becomes tougher, but they just showed how clinical they are, Manchester United. And when you're able to bring on the likes of a Wayne Rooney on top of what already was a very, very strong team, it becomes difficult.
You did give some players an opportunity tonight, players who haven't been playing. Nobody really grasped it. Nobody made themselves undroppable for Saturday, did they?
No, I would like to be standing here and say that there were some real good performances out there. In the first half, I thought we were dogged, and I thought as I said, we had some good moments, but we overall conceded. I thought soft goals overall, and there weren't many clear-cut chances that they had, but they were just very clinical in what they done. And no, it's not been a good night for us, and we need to make sure that to wrap everybody up and come out fighting on Saturday. Yeah, and I think a special mention for them on what is a long journey on a midweek, and our supporters perhaps won't get back to Norwich until the very early hours or late hours of tomorrow morning, and it was a wonderful show for them, and they were very good, and I think they were very appreciative of efforts. And of course, when Robert Snodgrass, I know there was very much concern, but they stayed and they were there right to the end, as always, and I think we thank them very much for that.